Good morning, everyone, and this is the Good Morning Education Show. Such a pleasure to be here once again, and we're excited that you're here with us as well. We're streaming from Lagos, Nigeria, to the Education Show now takes place Mondays all through to Sunday, and it's always. Sorry about that. Just had to be there. And let's just welcome Dr. Omotola the Great. Been a long time. How are you this morning? Good morning, Dr. Omotola.
Good morning. Great to be back on the show. I'm doing great. And you?
Yeah, please pop up the volume so we can hear your voice very well. Wow.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, better now.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so I'm sure you know now that your favorite Good Morning Education show now takes place Monday all through to Sunday.
Yes,
How do you
I'm
feel about
excited.
that?
I'm excited about it. I think it's about time. So I'm glad that we finally got with the plan. That's good.
Sorry, you said, please could you repeat yourself?
I said I'm excited about it, that it's about time, that it's every day, not just 5 days a week.
Okay,
Did you?
all right. So, well, without wasting much time, I know that we have a lot of feedback. We have a lot of comments and questions on our show, and really the weekend was a very interesting one. We had fantastic people uh, who joined us as usual. We had our tribe members, and we had one or two topics that brought out some aspects that we also were thinking about, especially within the world of education. But let's just get started on the way. I think okay now Finn's at the back stage. Good morning, Finn. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Saitaya. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, tribe members. Good morning, Omotola. It's good to have you
Hello,
back.
hello.
All right. Okay, so we're going to start with first headline news, and then we'll come to the conversation of the day. So if you're joining us, please let us know where you're streaming from. Tell us your name and your location. And of course, we'd like to recognize you. If it's your first time, please let us know. The first headline says teacher held for raping, infecting 14 pupils with HIV. Let's start with Dr. Matola.
I think that's a really terrible situation and it's very disheartening. But I'm glad that hopefully justice will be done, and I hope that those people will be taken care of, whether by the government or by the school. But I wonder why it got to that point of getting up to 14 students until they finally realized something like that was going on. So I really hope that there will be better, I don't know, processes in place to make sure this does not happen again.
Yeah, Finn, do you want to say anything about this as well?
When the story broke last week, was it last week or upper week? It was a very sad one, and it gets sadder still to know that not only were these students defiled by someone who was supposed to be responsible for them as their teacher, but that now they have also been infected with HIV. It's totally, at this point, it feels like there is no form of justice that can be gotten for those children that is commensurate to what they have been subjected to and what they are going to face for the rest of their lives. And I hope this is a wake up call to school leaders, to school owners, to management that your eyes and your ears need to be open all the time. No, if this man is sentenced to jail, now, even if he's killed, It doesn't change anything. Those children are affected for life, and there is nothing that can be done about. They can only be managed as time goes on, to ensure that they have a good quality life and all of that. But look at the stigma that comes with HIV, considering the fact that these are even children in the northern part of the country. Look at what comes with the labeling they're going to have, getting married. It's just so saddening that stuff like this is allowed to happen and to go on, because he did not start defiling. He didn't defile the 14 students in one day. It started from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 until it got to 14, and this wasn't caught on time. It really is a sad one.
All right. We hope that this doesn't become a norm, as it were. But then let's go to the next headline. And the next headline, we're talking about admissions. And this is quite interesting because the statistics being shared here is, how do I put it now? Says admissions 179,330 spaces life fallow in universities as 225,926 waste at polytechnics and colleges. This is, what do you think about these figures?
So wait, are they saying that that's the number of unfilled space at the university and polytechnic?
Yes.
Wow. And we used to think that there were not enough space. So I'm really baffled, and this is news to me that we actually have more spaces. And I wonder the reason behind why they don't fill those spaces. Because this is like news to me, and it's baffling at the same time, where there are millions of students that are always struggling to get into university every year, and we have that number of space. It does not make any sense.
Well,
Yeah, one thing that the body of the news says is that we have this many spaces and this many courses in the universities as well as the polytechnics, because one, students are not interested in some particular subjects or in some particular courses. Then two, there is the accreditation issue where yes, it's on paper that a school runs a course, but that department or that course is not accredited to
by
be
any
run
institution.
by the school. So, but this takes me to our topic of yesterday. We have some courses in the universities that some students will not touch with a long pole, even if they were giving those courses free and then they were even giving money on top of it. They feel like, what am I going to do with this? So you find many students saying over and over and over again, they have high jump scores that can get them into certain courses, but they are bent on, I want to study this particular course. And then other courses are there, just there's a lot of space there, and it's like it's the course for the rejects. There's a need for NUC and every other body in that is invested and has vested interest in education to begin to do a lot of orientation concerning some of these courses. I know a young man who was to study English in the university. He didn't get English, and then he got classics, and it was a big issue. What do I want to do with classics? I know a young lady also whose father said she wasn't going to study guidance and counseling, because as far as the father was concerned, if you're studying guidance and counseling, you want to become a minister in the church. That's what he's thinking. And it took time to break it down to him that this is not going into seminary. This is a professional course. So there's a need for better orientation for students, especially with courses that are not very popular or that people have a lot of misconceptions about, so that we have more people going into the university. We have a better diversity when it comes to the choice of courses in schools. I think it can also start from the secondary schools, where we have proper guidance counseling for students before or while they are filling their jam forms.
I agree with you, Faye. After reading the headline, I think that our universities and polytechnic system, they are like they are what do you they are very relaxed about it. They don't compete for the best of the best students or compete to get students to come to them because they always feel as if well there are more students than university anyway, so they'll be lucky to have it. So I agree with you in terms of doing more orientation and more awareness about the courses of possibility. And maybe another thing for the overarching like I guess board is to decide what courses are relevant to this century and what courses are not. And so, is there a way to turn some of these courses around? Is there a way to revamp them and make them more relevant to this current like society that we are in? And maybe that can help get more students interested in them.
All right. I think that Omotola, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Did you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just move on to the next headlines. Alleged age falsification. NAN seeks prosecution of FUNAB lecturer. That's very important. This is coming on the from the Daily Post NG. Dr. Motola, are you there?
Yes, can you give us the background behind it? I couldn't find the link
The
for it.
line seems to be. Are you there now?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly. Can you hear me?
It's breaking.
Oh,
Okay, so
and
let's think. Can you hear me?
I'm not sure where this is coming from. I'm hearing both of you, but it's cracking.
Okay,
Okay. No, I can't hear anybody.
okay. So the next headline says Ignatius Aju University of Education suspends students for possession of hard drugs.
All right, so I'm not sure if you can hear me clearly.
The
There's a
next
lot of a crack
headline is in the private.
line.
There's hello.
hello, we
Yeah,
can hear. I can hear you.
Okay, so Dr. Motola, since you can hear me, do you want to give me a feedback on that?
Yes,
Ignatius
I think it's
Aju.
the right move. I think it's the right move for suspending the students because I think that's a big offense in itself, and I'm hopeful that hopefully they'll see that through in terms of the proper step they will take. Yeah.
Can you hear us now? Because it seems like it's not feeling I can't hear.
I can hear you. It's just not very clear.
Okay, so next headline is Obaseki meets Ei Zoge Aidelogie best JAM UTME candidate in Edo State. What's your take on that thing?
For the governor meeting the best students in Edo State, the best UTME student candidate in Edo State. Well, first of all, it's good for morale. The students feels visible, feels appreciated, and it's setting the pace and setting a standard for other young people in the states to realize that hard work and doing things and being intelligent and being I don't want to say being intelligent, but hard work and putting effort into things that count matter. Now in this age where everything is flash, everything is showbiz, is it's music, it's entertainment. It looks like if you're not in that space, then you don't have the access to certain places or certain people. But with this, it's a strong message sent out to other young people in the states that look, you really can be everything you want to be. Even as being diligent at your studies and paying attention to your future. It doesn't make you geeky and make you maybe less better positioned or maybe less positioned than others who choose to go into the more showy aspects of of existence. So I congratulate he and his school and his parents, and also wish him all the best as he takes on this journey into the university.
All right. Dr. Motola, any comment?
Just congratulations, and I hope that they will not just congratulate him in mouth, but they will hopefully maybe give him scholarships to further his education and do greater things.
All right. Scholarship, Dr. Motola. I think your second name is going to be scholarship. All right. Serap urges ICC to declare abduction of students a crime against humanity. Any thoughts? Any feedback?
This is one headline, or this is one case where I believe that the word used there is pretty um, it's not weighty enough. Urging the ICC to declare abduction of students a crime, it shouldn't be an urge. It should be something stronger. It should be this really is a crime against humanity. I don't know how else they see it. I don't know how else ICC sees it. Maybe they see it as an incident or just and I don't know. I don't know how they see it. But for them to be urged to see abduction of students as a crime against humanity, there is a lot wrong there. There is a whole lot wrong there. We have heard and we have seen of students or young people who get abducted and it takes them a long time to recover from this, or maybe they don't even recover at all. Some are killed, some are never found anymore. We still, right on our plate is still the case of Leah Sharibu. How many years down the line, we have not seen her. We've heard a lot of things said, or she's had babies, or she's not had babies, we've had a lot of things said. And if that is not crime against humanity, then I don't know what else is.
Some people say it is what it is. So let's just move over to the next one. And still on insecurity, Adamawa order closure of boarding schools over insecurity. The state government has announced the closure of 30 boarding junior secondary schools in the state out of 34 junior secondary schools over insecurity. Let's hear your feedback, Dr. Motola, then we go to Finn.
I think that if they still cannot figure out a way to protect the students, I think that's the right temporary plan. My question is, what is going to happen after this? Like, what is the next step? What is the more concrete plan beyond just this temporary plan? So yes, I agree for the protection and safety of the students. This might be the right step, But the question is for how long and what are the next steps going forward?
All right. Fee, do you want to say something on that?
If Boko Haram did not get their agenda realized directly, as in going to schools to shut them down, they are realizing their agenda now indirectly by making states and the country insecure. So out of 34 junior secondary boarding schools, 30 have been shut down. You could as well have shut down all the 34. I don't know if maybe those in power or those who are responsible for the security of all of us as citizens, I don't know if they are watching this or if they're seeing what's going on, or they're just hiding their head in all the other things that do not really matter. Because if you have to keep their being away from school or the shutting down of the school, it's indefinite. It's until the situation gets better. So if insecurity doesn't get, if the security situation of the country doesn't get better in the next 12 months, it means that these kids are out of school for the next 12 months. In that space of time, how many of them will want to go back to school? How many of them will be able to catch up again? How many of them would have the interest to say, oh, yeah, education is still it for me? So these guys are using a subtle way to get their agenda, to get their plans realized. And unfortunately, we just seem to be sitting down and crossing our hands and continue to do our analysis and continue to talk. And those who are supposed to be responsible for us all do not seem to be bothered about this.
All right. It's really, I don't know. But let me just welcome Ifyok. Ifyok, good morning.
Hi, good
Welcome.
morning.
Feels like I saw
Good
you
morning.
just some minutes ago, but that was yesterday actually.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Good
But
morning, Fee. Um, I'm not
Good
sure who's here,
morning,
but good
Ifra.
Dr.
morning.
Motala.
Okay, Motala, good morning. Dr. Motala, good morning.
Good
Yeah.
morning, good morning, welcome back. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
All right. So, well, we're still talking about insecurity, and sometimes that you're not able to say something or articulate it in certain words does not mean that you don't have anything to say or you don't have much to say. But I think that something has to be done, and that has to be done fast and quickly. You understand? So, if I'm sure you've heard about some of the headlines we've been talking about. The last
Yes,
one, yeah. Do you want to say something on that?
on which one? Any particular one? Or I don't know. I'm not sure what we're talking about right now. That's what I was just listening to hear.
Okay, so we're talking about the 30 schools, that's the boarding junior secondary schools that were
Yeah,
shut down
that's close.
in Adama out of 34 due to
Oh,
insecurity. So that's just leaving like 4 boarding schools left.
boarding
And
schools
I'm even wondering the criteria or the parameters for those 4. Is either they are under
remaining
under the
open.
ground, or they are not just boarding schools. Probably they're in they're in the community, more or less, not standalone. There are schools that within an estate or within a community. So you might as well not, you might as well shut down the community, you know. So because I've been to Adama, I think twice or thrice. I've been there
Okay.
to some schools to train. And I think I understand when they say they are shutting down some schools, because Adamawa has expanse of land, and sometimes between a school to another, you see they're totally open cross. Anyone can drive through.
Wow.
You know, yeah.
Well, what I'll say to that is, I think, given the security issues that abound, it's a smart move if the state feels that they are not on top of things with regards to security matters. The lives of the children and the lives of the staff and individuals is very important. So if they feel that they're not able to, have that top-notch security that they need to keep the schools open, then it's a good one to shut it down. But what's the plan? Is there any plan to, improve the security system, improve whatever, close whatever loopholes are there to ensure that those schools are reopened? Because I can tell you that school is providing structure, is providing a routine, is providing some sort of balance and sanity for both the parents and the children. So when you shut it down, is there a plan, a later plan? And as schools as they've shut down, is there a current plan, in place to give those children some sort of structure and, that will ensure that their learning continues while plans are put in place to reopen? But I think it's a smart move if the security since the security is compromised. I think it's a smart one.
Thank you very much. I like the fact that you mentioned that. So yes, what's the plan? Because really, it's getting to a point where we shouldn't be analyzing security concerns and situations that affect schools from the angle of just regulation. I think that we also need to go back to the angle of administration and management, because it seems like the first thing to do is to regulate entry, regulate protection, regulate attendance, regulate opening, because those are things that are available to regulate. So now, for example, if we now find out that the people that are causing mayhem now begin to go into houses, so what's likely going to happen? We're going to regulate accommodation. Okay, don't live in A area, live in B area. When they now capture B, what happens? Live in C area. When they capture C, then you know what, guys, you need to leave the state. The state is currently not habitable, because what's happening is we are not tackling the root cause. I think as much as we close down schools, we should also government should give themselves ultimatum and speak the honest truth about some things and say, you know what, the school was not the fault. The school is not the beehive attracting insecurity, right? It's the system that is faulty. And if you treat the system, then it's not fair that we leave people who have not done anything to warrant harm to become unnecessary prey, you know. So we need to get to that point, and I think it has to be before election period. Honestly, we can't wait till 2023. Ugochi Obidego, thank you for joining. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Timmy. Good morning, all our analysts.
Good morning, Ugochi.
Okay.
Ugochi now has a fellow analyst wherever she is. Anyway, so we're waiting for another analyst from the UAE. So let's go to the conversation of the day. We're talking about teachers still, and conversation is, but you're still just a teacher. I'm going to ask Finn to. Finn, you're not smiling. What's happening? Is it the insecurity situation that's making?
I'm not sure she's hearing you.
Are you sure she can hear me? She's not just saying anything. All right, so let's have an introduction from Finn. Finn, over to you. Finn Folufalodun, are you there? Hello, Finn. We've been talking and you're not saying anything.
I don't think she can hear.
I don't think.
Okay. So are you sure she can hear? She was looking up just a second. All right. So let's just say that we're having a conversation yesterday, and more or less that's detailing into the conversation of the day. Um, I'm sure you probably, of course, if your is a mainstream teacher, so to speak, um, and I'm sure you've had experiences. And for those of us that have come into the education space at one level or the other, we've sometimes we've sometimes have asked ourselves, what's the fuss about? You're not the one that created the world, neither are you the one that created the problem in some cases. So you just want to just say, let me just stay on my lane. And in some cases, you probably have tried to effect change or drive change, and you just find out that, well, what do I know? But I'm just what? A teacher. But then I want us to look at it from the angle of not just giving up, or looking at it from the angle of feeling fed up. But let's come to the concept of the fact that, but you're still just a teacher means that you still have uh, you still have a jurisdiction, as it were, a jurisdiction to do something about things. So I'm going to ask what does this speak to you particularly about?
Okay. So when I saw this topic, I think one of the first things that came to my mind was me being able to function in other spheres of life beyond the education space, beyond the classroom. Okay, and so it had to do with me being able to take certain decisions. Let's go into management, for example. I think earlier on in my career, I had an eye for management, and so I would always ask questions. I want to make inputs, and a lot of times I was hushed down because, oh, okay, your place is in the classroom. And I'm sorry to say this experience was a very bitter one right back when I started my career back in Nigeria. And it was like, what business do you have even making suggestions to management with regards to maybe running the school or bringing up ideas that would, push the school forward. And I think that was one of the experiences that made me tell myself that one day I'm going to sit on that seat and I will be open to, ideas from just anybody. Okay, and that's one of the things that also made me tell myself that when I get there, I will make sure to surround myself with people who know better than I do. Okay, even if I'm wearing the crown, I'm gonna make sure that people around me know better than I do and are equipped in other areas of life. And so that's one of the reasons why today I am looking for something that is not in the line of my career. So don't be surprised tomorrow when you hear that I'm studying for a degree in nursing, or I am I'm studying to be an engineer or something. So yeah. So that's one of the things that come to my mind. So when I want to make contributions to other aspects of life, and I find myself wanting the area of knowledge, then I'm pushed to start researching and, okay, I want to know more about this. And so, speaking to the teacher particularly, if you ever find yourself in a position where you're in a conversation, for example, and you don't know much about it, and you feel this is something you really want to contribute towards, then take a step back and go back, do your research, but don't just open your mouth, because you could disgrace yourself. So that's one of the things that come to mind when I hear, but you're still just a teacher. Okay. Yeah.
All right, I'm not saying
Okay, what did I
anything.
say that
No, 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 but I'm still just a host anyway. So I'm going to ask. I think from what you said, you're speaking about the future and the possibilities of things that can happen, and from there, it's like you're saying that, while you're all about what you can be and all that what you can have, come back to the reality that you're still just a teacher, which means that it's possible that people are actually stranded because of the state of their being. And as lofty as the dreams can be, they've not empowered themselves into positioning themselves towards getting to a state where they can be better in their beings so they can have their beings better ultimately. So let's hear from Dr. Motola, and I'm coming to Gochi. So speaking from that perspective, but you're still just a teacher, it's almost like saying, what are those limitations? What are those things that teachers have not been able to rise into, migrate into, transition into? And that's the point. It's like saying, "Oh, Daddy, I want to drive a plane. I mean, drive a car, or I want to fly a plane," but you're still just a child. Obotola, over to you.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so for me, I'll say that some of the things I see will be maybe, especially if you're just starting as a teacher or even if you've been doing the job for like over 10 years, is that sometimes, yes, people want to limit you and think that, oh, because you're just a teacher, like you said, the way they even say it is very annoying. It's just a teacher. There's so much more than just being just a teacher because they are powerful beyond measures. Like they make presidents, they create all of these business people anyway, right? But back to the angle that you're asking for, I think one of the things I see is like sometimes the teachers also look down on themselves and their profession. They're like, well, I'm just a teacher. They say it themselves. They say, well, I'm just a teacher. There's nothing I can do. And I really believe that teachers have more powers than they will. And so I think sometimes one of the deficits is teachers themselves really be accepting that self-image of what the world or what the society is projecting that your profession is not as great as STEM or something like that. And then they walk in that attitude towards their job. They say, oh, but I'm just a teacher. I can't change the curriculum. But I'm just a teacher. I can't teach beyond this. And I think that is BS because I really believe, like more than ever, with the way the pandemic and everything, even before the pandemic, like I think teachers have so much power and influence on their students and the families that they come in contact with. And so for me, I think teachers themselves not believing in themselves, having this low self-esteem or self-image about their profession, about their role in the world and their role in education also affects that and really make it even more pronounced than before in terms of not taking them seriously and not thinking that they have value beyond just being just a teacher. So that would be my own take.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Motola has brought the right side of the of the conversation. So not necessarily from the limitation, but also from the patterns where people themselves have been listening to things that have been limiting them. So let's listen to Gochi as well. Your perspective from the topic of the day. Gochi, over to you.
Okay, so I'll just come from it from the angle of if you have not built yourself up a certain way and you've not done the work of investing in yourself, you don't have a good self concept, you've not even seen positive examples of teachers who are doing amazing stuff in society. When someone says to you, but you are still just a teacher, it can actually sound like an insult. You would feel like maybe you're not even doing anything. Maybe there is nothing that there is to you, in society. And that could even already damage the low self esteem that you probably already have because you don't even know that there is actually more that you can be. And so that's why it's important. It's important that teachers understand the unique role they play. They play a very unique and pivotal role in society. and there's actually capacity to even be so much more, you know. So once they understand who they really are, it shouldn't be something that someone can use to, should I say, look down on them or insult them. It shouldn't. It should actually be a positive thing that yes, you are a teacher.
Hello?
Can you still hear me, please?
Yes, it was breaking a bit.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So it should still be something positive that you are a teacher because of who the role a teacher plays in society and its importance in the grand scheme of things. So that's where I will just stop because the other speakers already spoke extensively on it.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Feeling your back. Can you hear us
Yes, I had
now?
some issues with I had some issues with my laptop. I think I went completely frozen. I couldn't use my controls.
Okay, so the laptop is also telling you that, but you're still just an individual. You're not the internet.
Wants to get
So let's hear
some
from
it
you.
wants to get some resounding it wants to hear from me then because okay, so when I look at the topic, I it has a tinge of a connotation that is not very positive. It feels like something you hear when parents especially go into the classroom and they insult a teacher and they're like, after all, you're just a teacher. You're still the teacher. I can walk all over you and get out of here. And they're trying to be all marking the territories and all of that. That's what it sounds like to me. But I look at it and I choose to look at it from a different perspective. Like, this is the teacher's inner person talking to them, and they're having that conflict on the inside that, look, I can be much more than this. And the what do I call it? Is it their conscience or their mind or whatever it is that is on the other side for them is saying, no, you can't be more than this. You are just a teacher. There is nothing more to it. All you do is to go into the classroom, teach, set exams or test or whatever, mark it, and that is all you are. But I look at it there as that conflict between the presence of the teacher and how much more that teacher can be. And for them to be able to say, look, I can be, even if all I choose to be is a teacher, which is fantastic anyway, then I can be a whole lot more than, I can add more things to this. I can add something to the learning experience for my students. I can add something to the teaching experience for me also, that I would enjoy being a teacher. So I look at this topic and I say, yeah, there is a lot. It's like opening up this feels like it's not something from the outside in for the teacher, it's something from the inside out to say, yes, I'm not just, and I am not just still, or still just, whatever, however that arrangement is. I am not just a teacher. I am a professional. I have a lot to offer. And it's not just in saying I have a lot to offer, I have a lot to offer, and then turn it into a mantra and turn it into maybe an affirmation. But actually working on it, and not just working on it, let your students be able to, even if other people feel like, but you're just a teacher, let your students be able to have that experience that, oh, when you step into Mr. or Miss Lagbaja's classroom, the experience is completely different. What I did not really understand, I could get it in a better way. What I could not, they feel that they feel not just somebody standing at the board, but they feel somebody who is concerned for them, who wants to see them make progress, and then the teacher himself or herself is seeing themselves as, look, I'm a solution provider, I'm a solution carrier, and I am so much more than just. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And the question I'd like to ask Dr. Motola is, how do you battle a culture of pessimism? I'm going to come to Ifiok with another question, but let's hear from Dr. Motola, because this topic seems to also speak a little bit to the factor that a lot of times there's just this air, this culture, this conditioning, within the profession, within the system, sometimes within the workplace. Dr. Motola.
So I think it starts from having your own image of yourself and what your role is in the particular profession. So, like, we're using teachers as example right now. So it is really important for you that yes, there will always be battles or wars to fight on the outside of what people will think about you, say about your expertise, your learning style, your teaching style, all of those kind of things. And so first and foremost is like winning the battle in your mind first, being bulletproof in who you are and what you have to offer and the value that you hold and your passion for that particular profession and the role that you want to play in the future of the profession or the people that you serve. So I think that's one way. And then that might include having like a personal growth plan or personal professional development plan that you work on, whether or not the school or your institution is providing opportunities for that, you create your own. And so you don't wait until the school say, oh, let's do training for you before you do training. You're always looking for ways. How can I always be on the cutting edge? How can I always do better? How can I be better than what I was last semester or last term and things like that? So I think it starts with that. And so for me, that would be the starting analyst add to it as well.
Okay, so that's quite interesting, because my question that I'm going to ask Ifyok is almost like what's an opposite. So Ifyok, we're talking about the culture of possibilities this time around. How do we fan that flame and how do we ride on that tide? Especially speaking as a practitioner, you're a practitioner, yeah. You've been in that space as well. And of course, you've just been licensed to fly, So it's a possibility of some sort. So over to you, Ifyok. Your mic is muted, please.
Okay. All right. So there's an echo. Okay. I'm just gonna a little bit of correction. I have not been in that space. I am in that space. And I'm owning it. And that's where it starts, okay? That's where it starts. Realizing your strengths, okay, is one of the first steps that can help anyone or any teacher out there steer away from pessimism. That's what we're answering here, right, Mr. Rotimi? So
yeah, the possibilities now. Possibilities.
Okay. So, well, for me, the possibilities honestly are huge, and you being able to see those possibilities, like as I started to say, lies in you realizing your strength, because that's what's going to open up the door for you. Open up your eyes to see what's out there, or to see the heights that you can go, to see the lengths that you can go. You're reaching out to lives. You are like, so how do you see yourself? Let's go back to that place of self-efficacy and you understanding yourself and having confidence in what it is you have, what it is you can achieve, what your role is as a teacher. And so if you do not have that objective lens to see, or this is what I am good at, then how are you going to be able to see what you can do, what changes you can bring out there? So that's one way. Another thing is criticism. Do not be afraid of criticism, because when you are criticized or when something is criticized, then it opens up another door of possibilities, because then it's like pointing at a problem. And so instead of looking at that problem, you can then look at what could be the solution. And you finding a solution is an open door to possibility. So so don't fear criticism. Understand your strengths and ride on the waves of your strength to be able to advance and show forth that you're not just a teacher. So Mr. Rotimi, did I answer that?
Yes, you did justice to that.
Okay.
And thank you for the correction that you gave us to be. Yes, it's one of those things that happen. All right, so I'm bringing the question now to Ifyok, right? I said Ifyok.
Ifyok, okay.
Safety check. Yeah. Safety check. Apologies for that. Just before I do that, let me acknowledge Olushola Olumide in studios. Olushola, good morning.
Good morning, Project Director. Good morning to everyone in the house, and good morning to our tribe member. Good morning.
All right. Seems so yes, Ugochi, there's a question I want to ask. And I know that you've been one that has consistently shared, some of the things that you've done in terms of the directions that you've taken and how you've been able to, also lead in specific areas. And one of the things that I want to ask is a two-part question. Number one is the route of volunteering and also the issue of social change. I know that most of the things you've done, even the books you've written, the products you've created, and some of the projects you're doing right now has been on the back of change, riding on the back of social change. How can teachers understand that even though they might be saying, well, but I'm still just a teacher, what can I do? How can they leverage on the route of volunteering and also social change, change projects? Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, sir. Okay, so teachers need to understand that the fact that you're a teacher does not mean that that is the only thing. Even as you are right there in that class and you are a teacher, what frustrates you? What do you see and wish that it could be done better or it could be handled well? Do you get frustrated when you see that children with special needs are not able to fit in properly into our classrooms because of the way our classrooms are? Do you get frustrated because there is no system of professional development in the school that you're at? What exactly really in society, whether within your school or even outside your school, frustrates you? Sometimes those things are pointers to the kinds of things we can do to make an impact in society. Many times when people think of social change, they think that they have to be the one to start an organization. And you do not have to be the one to start an organization. You could actually just look out for an organization that is doing something similar to what you're interested in and volunteer. Whether you want to do it weekly, fortnightly, monthly, or quarterly, it's something. Because when you begin to volunteer, put yourself in contexts that are different to from what you are used to, it begins to give you ideas. You see things from a different perspective. It helps you to do something in your own little way to contribute to solving a problem. And that thing expands your mind. As a matter of fact, if we have teachers, many teachers who are volunteers, it does something to them such that it spills over to their students because they take that insight, the knowledge they're getting, and they are now able to, when they will be teaching their students, they will be coming from that transformational agent part, trying to make them see that you're not too small to create an impact in society. And that is such a good seed to plant in students. That's why in the US, they have a volunteering culture where, like, almost every Saturday, people are going to go and volunteer somewhere. It's either they are cleaning somewhere, or they are packing food at a food kitchen, or everybody is just doing something to help someone else. And that thing has spilled over even to children. So children are accompanying their grandparents or their parents, or they're even going as a group to go and celebrate birthday, volunteering. So we need to have more of our own teachers opening up their minds, because volunteering helps to open up your mind to see that there are many ways to actually, should I say, get involved and you don't have to necessarily be the one at the forefront. Now, if in the course of volunteering, you now see that, oh, you are so interested, you really like what is going on, and then you want to start something of yours, then that's totally fine. It's okay. It's just a matter of planning, knowing that you can arrange your social impact work either in season. So maybe you want to do them weekends, or you want to do them during the summer holidays, or you only want to do them at the end of the term. It's just a matter of planning so that it doesn't should I say, affect your own work in school. But volunteering is really important to help expand the minds of the teachers, because once their mind gets expanded and seeing how they can make changes in society, it spills over to how they take on their teaching role in their classrooms, and it helps to mold and shape the minds of the students in their class.
Thank you
That's you,
so
sir.
much. Thank you. And this question I'm going to take to Olumide Olushola, and it's the issue of how visible are teachers today. I think that there's this subtle feeling, it's like visibility seems to be an exclusive list where you don't find most educators. I don't know why. I think that we need to ask Olumide to shed light on that. Why are teachers not really visible, especially even on the online front? A lot of teachers have not harnessed the visibility side of things, because if you're going to be doing stuff and you're going to be changing stuff, I think that one key area is to address this issue of visibility.
Thank you, project director. I think I want to say a big thank you to COVID-19. I think it has pushed a lot of people um, out of their comfort zone. If with the issue of COVID, we are still battling with visibility of teachers, imagine if there was no COVID, if we were not forced to innovate and go online. Even some that decided to go online, it was predicated on the fact that if I don't do this and these children will go away, I will lose money. Let me use something to engage them. And that tells us that there is a knowledge gap as far as technology is concerned. Um, just like Safety she just said, if you just feel, well, I'm just a teacher, let me just continue to do what I'm doing here. Many educators don't even see themselves beyond the classroom or beyond the school they are. And that also has to do with the image, just like we discussed yesterday. Are you proud of what you are doing? Do you see possibility in what you are doing? Do you have the mastery of your job? Are you competent enough? Are you confident enough that any day, anytime you are called upon, you can deliver? Lately I thought about this show, and I try to appreciate the knowledge, the competence of our analysts coming on board. It isn't the case that somebody has sent the question to you before. I said, this is the question they're going to have. There are many questions you anchor did not even prepare. That conversation snowballs into leading to another question. So it tells you the depth of the caliber of people that comes on board here. It's not because somebody gave you an expo somewhere and you are put on the spot, you are asked a question and you have just few seconds to think through and bring solution to bear. So I think the issue of competence, the issue of knowledge, educators should see this. The educators should be competent and be confident that you can do something. And once we have that, I tell you, it will be easy to take on the world. You can write either using Facebook, using Twitter, or you want to use Instagram, or you go on LinkedIn. If you ask how many typical educators on LinkedIn. So people, I think this traditional way of doing things over time, we've been so used to it, and we're finding it difficult to shift. We're finding it difficult to adjust that, see, here is a new normal. You have to engage students, you have to engage your audience online, and it goes a long way. Somebody you have never met in life and you may not meet in life will see your work and refer you or recommend you
And I think the online presence are giving us, has broken down the boundaries. So we can do more, we can become more, we can achieve more. So I think the issue of knowledge is there, the issue of competence is there, the issue of confidence is there. And I think as educators, we should be proud of what we are doing. You don't allow somebody to put you down. After all, you're just a teacher. Or you yourself, you even have this demeanor. I can't kill myself. After all, I'm just a teacher. I'm just to handle biology. I'm just to handle mathematics. Forgetting that if you do it well, somebody somewhere can say, oh, I used to know a teacher. In fact, if you know so and so, if that man teaches you anything, you will always get it. And I think it's a clarion call to all educators. At whatever level you are, see yourself as competing globally. Yes, you live in locally, but see yourself as a global player. Position yourself as such, develop yourself as such, connect as such, and be among or try to cultivate what we call global best practices and see high flyers, follow them, be encouraged, be mentored by what they do. If you need to reach out to them, reach out to some of them and say, oh, I appreciate all you do. You are an educator, I'm an educator, but the way you are flying, I wish I can. What are these? Can you tell me your secrets? And the person will tell you one or two things. And of course, Rome was never built in a day, but every day Rome was being built. If you don't do anything, you will not achieve anything. If you keep wishing and daydreaming, I'm telling you, nothing will come to reality. We have to step out, make our own mistakes, learn from the mistakes, and move on. The masters today were apprentices yesterday. Thank you very much.
I think that's where you need to hear from a New Yorker, O'Shea. You know, that's those who know
that was actually an O'Shea worthy moment.
All right, that's a very good way to bring the show to a close. We've heard a lot today, and I believe that for everyone out there, we need to begin to question our limitations and get ready to go out on a limb, and I believe that it's time. You should be able to put yourself out there. And I think also what we need to understand is, for teachers and for educators as a whole, we must not see these things from the angle of knowledge only. Because even when people do some great things, it's almost looking like they're just meeting up with their wish list or checklist of knowledge. We must see this as a thing of practice. And when I say practice, not rehearsal, but as a pursuit. You see, when you appreciate something or you do something as a pursuit, you can see the thing progressing. You can see the thing riding on momentum. You can see the thing positioned to take off to do something. But when it's just like knowledge, it's always starting and ending as a form of acquisition. And I see a lot of people out there shopping for knowledge, shopping for knowledge. At first, you're excited, but then you get concerned because as they shop for knowledge, they are turning knowledge to just mere acquisition. So if do you know about LinkedIn? I know. How do you get on LinkedIn? Just go on www.linkedin.com. You understand that kind of thing? Oh, do you know about Facebook? Yes. Do you know about Instagram Live? Yes. The knowledge acquisition must transition into pursuit, where we begin to turn knowledge into convertible tools to drive tomorrow. And it's going to be great tomorrow. It's going to be greater tomorrow. Remember, we're not just ending on Friday. So put your mind away from Monday to Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are on fire. I told you September is going to be different. And even Ifyok has been on fire, Ifyok has met up with a deadline, even though he had some advocates to justify the Friday appearance. But
yes. Yes, if you don't worry,
promise.
Mr. Itayo had to visit you.
I am
so now that you are much more visible.
that license, definitely we are coming. So Abu Dhabi, we're coming right at you. And New York and the likes, get ready. Something is going to happen. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show today, and we wish you a wonderful day ahead. And as we come to the end of the show, we would not want to end without saying these words that we mean a lot. And of course, for some of us on the show, it's our favorite word. If you don't have it, it's like you did not have coffee or tea. I will take coffee after the show or tea, but someone like Finn needs to hear that word because that's what we keep on doing. So we have to even extend the show to the weekend so that the weekend is not boring for people like me. So ladies and gentlemen, so what 50? What's the eyeball for? 1, 2. It's always
It's always a great
great
morning
morning
on the Good
on the
Morning
morning
On the
Education
Good
education.
Show.
Morning Education Show.
Yes. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye.